We'd just like to, before we start the show, give our condolences to the Bobby Bowden family.
Absolutely.
On the behalf of the late Bobby Bowden. Prayers goes out to his family, friends, great coach.
One of the all-time greatest.
Great coach and even a better man.
I heard him say something about today. I was seeing a quote from his, said something about you can teach them how to play football, but and then I seen something about his reputation wasn't based off what everybody thought it was, what God thought it was.
That's awesome.
Thanks for a man of faith.
Yeah, for sure. So our prayers and our thoughts go out to him and all the Florida State family. So
absolutely.
Now or never coming right at you. Is it now or never for Georgia coming right at you?
Let's talk ball.
Talk ball.
So is it now or never for the Georgia Bulldogs? Is it championship or bust this year for
I'm going to go ahead and ruin the whole video.
Do they finally get over the hump?
I got to ruin the whole video. Is it now or never? No. No, it's not now or never. But is it now or when? Yes.
What do you mean now or when? Elaborate.
Now or when? It's not now or never.
He's saying
if they don't
win, if they don't win it this year, when are they going to?
It's not now or never.
You're saying W-I-N. You're saying W-H.
It's not now or never because that's never a fair case. But it is now or when because not because of necessarily what you have, what everybody else don't have.
Right.
Winning is not always based off of your talent.
No, absolutely.
But sometimes the other team's talent.
I agree. And I agree. It's definitely not now or never. That's obviously just kind of for alliteration purposes. It sounds good.
Right.
But as you said, it's definitely now or when. And it's because every single year, y'all recruit as good, if not better than anybody in the country.
Pretty much everybody but Alabama.
Yeah, and y'all still have.
And some years we beat them.
And y'all still have no hardware as terms of championships to show for.
Nationally. And
y'all can win the East every year, but it's
Georgia can win the East with our four stringers. But here's the deal. If I'm a big Georgia fan, probably the biggest Georgia fan that y'all know. If we're number 5 at the end of the year, as we have been the last few years, last year we were farther out, but we were a couple of years there. We were the first one out after we made it. If we're not in the playoffs in the year, it's frustrating.
No, and I agree. As I said in the beginning, is it championship or bust? I don't believe in championship or bust, but I do believe in playoff or bust.
Yes.
Because at the end of the year, there's obviously only one team that's going to win a championship.
Yep.
2 teams that are going to make it.
Oh, and a lot has to go right. It's not all based off talent.
Exactly. A ton has to go right for that to happen. It's not easy. So I don't believe in championship or bust, but I sure as heck believe in playoff bust, especially this year because there's not a single question mark. There's not a single hole.
Right.
A lot of times y'all have the talent, but you can look back and be like, well, we were weak at quarterback. Jake Fromm didn't progress. He kind of regressed.
And that's how it's been with Georgia.
So it's been the quarterback.
Yeah, it's always been our defense is stout.
We got great running backs, great O-line. And the weapons have been shaky at times, at least on the perimeter.
Shaky is liberal for that.
No.
But most of the time it's been that quarterback position.
Yeah. Right.
And now you have a good quarterback. Or so we think.
And a guy that can be an elite quarterback.
I agree.
And the thing about JT is we've really harped on his experience. And I didn't realize just how much he had. But he has started 16 college football games.
So he started 12 for USC?
Yep.
Okay.
16.
No, I mean that's a lot.
I mean that's plenty.
Well, I'll tell you what, and especially with the quarterback position, you've been able to see that transition start.
Right.
And I was younger, so I only know really the end of Mark Richt's tenure. And a lot of people want to compare Mark Richt and Kirby Smart and say Kirby Smart's no better, and that's ridiculous. And now, granted, when Kirby Smart did make the playoffs and did make the Natty, that was on mostly Mark Richt's players.
Right.
But you've seen under Kirby Smart an upgrade at the quarterback position.
Well, put it this way. Last year was Kirby Smart's first big draft class because it's the 4th-year guys of his first class.
Right.
The most recruits or most players we've ever had drafted. He's if you compare them on paper, they look similar, but it's not fair.
Right. And I mean,
he's done more.
That doesn't go into consideration that when y'all went to the national championship with Alabama, y'all should have won that game.
Yeah.
That doesn't go into the sophomore year for Jake Fromm when y'all played in the SEC championship game. Y'all should have won that game. Should have been the playoffs again. That doesn't take into consideration. Doesn't. And now part of that is on coaching. I believe Kirby Smart's grown. Kirby Smart's a young coach. He was there 2 years.
He's only a 6th year.
Yeah, and he was only at that point. He was only
what it took Dabo 8-something years. More than that?
I want to say 8 to win.
I think maybe 9. I don't know.
8 or 9.
I know it took Saban more than that at Bama.
Right.
Or not necessarily more than 8, but I know it took him more than 6.
Yeah. Right. It took him a couple years.
And so, man, Dallas just made a face. On our boy Dallas here is tired.
He's about to slump over here. Had a bad playing experience.
But no, it's not now or never.
Literally in Baltimore this morning.
But if you're a Georgia fan, you don't make the playoffs, man. You gotta be mad.
Go ahead.
Well, that would be my question as a Georgia fan. If y'all don't make the playoffs this year, and I don't think Kirby Smart should be on the hot seat, but how much rumbling, how much murmuring is going to be in Athens and for Georgia fans over Kirby Smart as the head coach?
A lot of that depends on scenario. Let's say JT goes down with an injury.
Oh, absolutely.
Or let's say we have a big injury bug or a COVID scenario. It depends on scenario, but it shouldn't be.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let
me put more context behind it. Let's say y'all lose to Clemson week 1. It's a close loss. I mean, it's a competitive game, and y'all lose to Alabama.
Yep.
Y'all don't make the playoffs. I don't think there's probably really any pressure at that point. Maybe it's turned up a touch.
Right.
But let's say y'all lose.
Well, I will say that there's no legit pressure to get fired, but fans aren't gonna be happy.
No. But I mean, in that situation, you probably lost against 2 playoff teams.
Right.
But let's say y'all lose to Clemson. And then y'all slip up a game in the East, let's just say to Florida, and then, y'all wouldn't even probably make the championship at that point. To me, that the pressure turns up. And I don't really think it should be. I think Kirby Smart's a great coach.
Right.
But as a Georgia fan, if y'all lose to Clemson, lose to Florida, is that pressure really starting to turn up?
No doubt. If at least within the fan base, there's going to be people calling for him to be fired if we don't at least win the division.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Because last year, there were people calling for him. And the guy he was going to start at quarterback opted out 2 weeks before season.
Yep.
The guy he started, who was a 4-star guy, got out there and looked like he forgot how to play football.
Wow.
And we were down to our 4th-string guy because JT was injured.
The mailman.
We were down to our 4th-string guy, went into halftime up on Alabama.
Right.
Could have won that game if we could have performed in the second half. And they wanted him gone.
Right.
Well, that's been y'all's kryptonite against.
Right. And that's pretty much everybody's kryptonite.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
pretty much everybody's.
If you're Kirby Smart this year, for one, I think Kirby knows, but you've got to at least win one of Clemson, one of Alabama,
Absolutely.
and others.
And as long as y'all split that, y'all are in the playoffs.
Right.
But and like I said, I mean, with Georgia, and a part of it with Kirby Smart, to me, the reason y'all haven't, because y'all have had the talent there, is a little bit on Kirby with the quarterback situation. You had the Jake Fromm, Justin Fields, and I agree, in Kirby Smart's shoes, the way Jake Fromm performed his freshman year, there's no way you sit him as sophomore year. But, and then again, then Justin Fields transfers, leaves, and then again this year, the last game when JT Daniels said he was healthy, yet y'all still didn't play him.
Right.
And some of that does fall on Kirby.
No doubt. And the thing is, it seems like Kirby's grown there. But I'll say this, and amongst talking about the quarterback position, I don't believe that national championship is now or never.
I agree.
What is now or never is modernizing and taking that next step on the offense.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And when the season ends, JT needs 3,500 or more yards, 30 or more touchdowns, and Georgia needs a 1,000-yard receiver. We've not had a 1,000-yard receiver since Terrence Edwards. Yeah. And by the way, a bunch of Georgia fans let me know I was wrong about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm flesh. But it's not now or never for Natty, just because you could get there and one or two plays that aren't executed right lose you the game.
Just like y'all saw when y'all made it to the Natty.
But Georgia has to take that next step offensively this year.
And like I said, get over the hump against Alabama. But, I mean, you can remember the first year we played Alabama in the national championship, we outplayed them statistically on the offense side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. The one place we didn't get them was special teams, and they still beat us. All it takes playing Alabama when they're so perfect at their craft.
That's the thing. And to beat Alabama year in and year out, you have to be perfect in every aspect of the game.
You do.
If you're lacking one, they're going to beat you.
Right. And most likely you're going to lack somewhere.
It doesn't. You literally have to put a perfect game. And the 2 years that Clemson has beat them, they had to put together a perfect game.
And that's the thing with Jake Fromm. And Jake Fromm played more than well enough, especially the freshman year, for y'all to win that game. Not in the SEC championship game, but when y'all played him in the Natty, he played a heck of a game as a true
Tyler
freshman.
Simmons was on sides.
Well, I mean that definitely was a big call. that's for sure.
We bought that punt. We scored a ball game. Anyways.
But what I was saying was, for one, to go back to Jake Fromm, he gets a lot of hate, and honestly, rightfully so. He didn't progress. He definitely seemed to regress his sophomore, junior year. But we've pretty much never really seen, at least at that time, really, a non-dual threat quarterback play well enough to beat Nick Saban.
Right.
I mean, the people that beat him was Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel, Chad Kelly, people that can make some plays.
Those guys that it don't matter what you throw at them.
Yeah,
it's like
they can make a play.
Pull something out of a hat.
Jake Fromm was like one of the first non-dual threat guys that played more than well enough his freshman year to beat Alabama in the national championship game.
And he looked really good at times.
Oh my goodness, I was so high on Jake Fromm after his freshman year. I was like, this dude.
I was
legit.
convinced that he was not a Heisman guy,
right?
But an elite quarterback and
Absolutely.
a top 5 quarterback. Yeah. And I went to bat for Jake Fromm a lot. And by his 3rd year, I was out on Jake Fromm.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of there comes to a point you can't
by,
really defend a guy.
By his 3rd year, he couldn't make a throw over 10 yards.
No,
legit.
So let me ask you a question, David. As from a Georgia standpoint, and as a Georgia fan, what is the Georgia fan base's lowest expectation? If you don't get to this point, we didn't have a good year. Playoffs.
If we don't make the playoffs, our fans are gonna be irate.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: to make the playoffs, you have to beat one of Clemson or Alabama.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
You lose both of those.
You can't lose to both of those.
But in the day and time we live in, it's like we've talked about. It's playoff or bust for Georgia this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like we've talked about, not even so much what Georgia returns, what everybody else does it.
Right.
Clemson replacing quarterback.
Right.
Alabama replacing quarterback.
That's true.
Right.
Ohio
If there's ever a
State
year to
replacing
do it,
quarterback.
it's now.
Even out there in the Pac-12, Oregon replacing quarterback. I mean,
all
lot
the
of
top
these teams.
powerhouses. Yeah.
Everyone but Oklahoma.
And then when you look at Georgia's roster, everything's checked off. We've got the quarterback,
everything.
We've got the running back. We've got
and that's
the
like
offensive line's gonna be good.
And that was one of our arguments in our top 25 video, that on paper, I mean, Georgia lines up as possibly the best team in the nation.
I truly like you said, on paper, I don't see how you put a team above Georgia.
Right.
Just
but
on
we
paper,
did.
top
We
did.
put them.
Well,
But
But coaching staff matters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they
And that, not just
and
not
you never
just the players.
And potential still does matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Now with Clemson, there's a lot of potential, but it's
kind of like you never count out Tom Brady, you never count out Nick Saban.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Throw Nick Saban on Miami this year.
That's
and
like
they could win it all.
that's like when we were blowing out Alabama national championship game at halftime. Dabo Swinney at the interview was like, "It's not over. Like we might be out by a lot in this game, but it's not over. You got Nick Saban gonna make some adjustments. It's big."
But so there are a few things that are, like I said, not now or never, but now or when. If you don't beat Bama this year, when are you going to do it if you're Georgia?
Yeah.
You're right.
Because Bama's defense is really good.
Right.
But they're not any better or much better than Clemson's.
Yeah.
I think in the back 7 they are.
And so, well, yes, their linebackers are probably better, but not by much, because between Trenton Simpson and Miskowski,
maybe not linebackers much, but
secondary wise they're better. Secondary wise they are probably significantly better. But you've got a guy in Andrew Booth who can lock anybody down.
I agree.
And he's a top corner in the league. And filling the other spot, you don't really know how that guy's going to turn out. He could turn out really good.
Yeah.
Now I will say your safeties, boo-boo. I mean, they can prove me
that's
wrong.
a huge question mark. I mean, as a Clemson fan, that worries me.
But no, it is now or win for Georgia. When are you going to win the Natty? When are you going to beat Bama?
And I like that question. When are you going to beat Bama? Because next year you'll be replacing your quarterback.
Yep.
We're gonna
And they'll be experienced.
And Bryce Young will be in his junior year, his second year starting. They'll have a lot of their wide rivers, more running backs. So I mean, like
DJ,
you said,
we won't. I don't know if I don't believe we can play Clemson regular season, but DJ will be
right.
in
Yeah.
sophomore year.
But I mean, just
Spencer Rattler will be back probably next year.
Yeah,
he'll be
but
back.
just solely on SEC. Like if you don't beat them this year, I doubt you are beating them next year.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is in a year when Alabama's vulnerable, you've got to take advantage.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, I believe I believe this with my whole heart. Kirby knows how to beat Alabama.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Watch the games we played.
Yeah.
We have come out with a better game plan than Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Every single time we
I
played
agree.
him, all 3 times.
Yeah.
We've come out. Remember you texted me in the SC Championship. You're like, dude, y'all going to blow them out.
Yeah.
But it's almost like y'all go to halftime and it's almost like y'all get complacent.
Well, the thing is,
with the lead that you have.
I don't believe we get complacent. I just believe we
y'all
don't have an elite offense, and Nick Saban adjusts.
That's 100% fair. And I wouldn't say necessarily. I see what you're saying. Complacent is not necessarily the word. And I would say conservative.
No doubt. I would have called him conservative Kirby, and I love him. I love Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
But the conservative, the prevent defense, 5 minutes in the second half has to stop.
But in Kirby's defense, at least in the national championship, I know that's a good bit years back now. We're really talking about this year. But it's hard not to get conservative with a true freshman quarterback that is limited.
Right.
I mean, it's hard when you got a lead.
You don't want to come out there and just start slinging the ball.
In the lead in the fourth quarter, and you're like, Jake Fromm, I still want you to go throw the ball. It's hard not.
Right.
I want to say this as a Georgia fan. I genuinely will say this. I've always gone in the year hyped. I think I even picked us to win the Natty last year. I mean, fault me for believing in my team.
Yeah.
I've never gone into a year with as much confidence in my quarterback as I have.
Right.
And more so than that, Todd Monken.
Yeah.
I firmly believe Todd Monken is the best offensive coordinator Georgia's ever had. And I believe Georgia's going to have the best offense we've ever had, especially in the air. And Georgia's either going to have a successful pass game this year or they're going to die trying.
Yeah.
And I think that's extremely fair because y'all don't only have the quarterback situation figured out. Y'all's weapons are as good as anybody's in the country.
No doubt.
I think I really do. I think week 1 is going to show a lot.
And I agree.
For both
Georgia
and Alabama, because
a lot of people say, well, week 1 matchup can't tell you much.
Go watch our Alabama-Miami breakdown if you haven't watched it.
You mean Georgia-Clemson?
No, Alabama-Miami.
Hey, watch both of them.
Yeah, watch both of them.
Yeah.
But go ahead and watch the Georgia-Clemson one. But a lot of people say, well, it don't tell you much. But here's one thing I heard somebody saying it really kind of was like, wow. Though a big game matchup like that don't hold as much weight as we really put into it, because by week 12, it may not matter that Georgia and Clemson already played. I firmly believe, and I heard somebody say this, and I was like, wow, that your team is absolutely going to prepare better in camp. They're going to take fall camp and they took spring way more serious.
No, you're absolutely. You're going to take fall. You're going to take spring, summer, and fall way more seriously when you're going against Georgia than you are Citadel.
Your coach,
South Carolina State.
Right?
Absolutely.
Your coach ain't calling you to wake you up for fall camp.
No, absolutely not.
He's not prepping and priming you. You're ready to go. You're amped up.
And this is
you don't have time to come out in the first half and lollygag around and say, we can still put up 25, 28 points and still win the game.
You don't have time to figure things out.
No, you better come out hot or you're going to lose.
When you play an FCS school, when you play a bad group of 5 team, you've got some leeway.
Yeah.
And I'm about to say something super profound here, but a little bit of pushback.
Doubtful.
A little bit of a pushback there on week 1 is obviously a team week 12 is so different than week 1.
Right.
So even if Clemson comes out and craps the bed, Georgia comes out and craps the bed.
Just say Georgia blows Clemson out.
Yeah.
And they meet back in the playoffs, Clemson could turn around and blow Georgia.
Vice versa.
It's you never. Week 1's not going to tell you what your team is in the season, but I believe your team does prepare better.
And I agree with that. Absolutely,
for sure.
But going into the season like last year, quarterback was a major question mark. Because when I'm going to be honest, when Newman opted out, I got excited. Because all those rumors that Fields was coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this has got to be. It makes sense. Yeah. Well, that didn't happen.
That would have been crazy. That would have been.
And then I fell into the hype train of Dwan Mathis. I seen some clips of him tearing it up in practice. I was like, man, he's gonna be good.
Which game did he end up playing in?
He started Arkansas. And
only
came out there.
Only clip I seen him was when he threw that ball.
Hey, look,
in the warm-ups.
Yeah, hit that dude in the head.
Poor Mathis. No, he's starting a tempo this year.
Is he?
He took so much crap over that one video. Though.
Yeah, and he was probably. But the thing is he was
probably nervous as crap though. Yeah.
And that was his downfall against Arkansas. But so is it now or never for Georgia? No, but it is now or when. And like we said, quarterback check. I believe that at the end of the year, you could be saying this is the best quarterback ever played for Georgia.
And I think that's fair.
Running back room, as good as ever.
Or at least season-wise.
Right. Yeah. In a season.
To me, it's kind of like this. A couple of years ago when LSU won, everything on paper lined up for LSU to win.
Did.
Everything.
Talent-wise, top to bottom, offensive, defense.
And even last
everybody else seemed to be down.
Exactly. Even last year with Bama, it just seemed to line up from the beginning. And this is Georgia's time.
It looks like that for Georgia.
Yeah.
And if maybe a Georgia fan,
can they take that from paper to the
right? And I told somebody today, I said, "Look, dude, I'm nervous." They said, "Why?" I said, "Because we hear this every year."
Yeah.
But LSU said it every year.
That's true.
And they did it.
It finally happened.
And a lot of people say, well, Kirby's got to learn to move the offense. I think Kirby did last year.
Yeah.
I think Kirby said last year we got to have offense. He went and got Todd Monken.
Right. Does Kirby have anything to do with offense?
At this point in time, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's Monken's, because here's the thing. Monken's making millions in the NFL. Monken didn't come to Georgia for Kirby to tell him what to do. Well, do you remember when Ryan Fitzpatrick was putting up those big numbers at the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Jameis Winston was putting up those numbers?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who his offensive coordinator was?
Monken.
Todd Monken.
No.
He went to the Browns, and
that's right. Yeah.
And that head coach wouldn't let him run the offense.
Right.
Monken didn't come to Georgia for Kirby to tell him what to do.
No,
absolutely
not at all.
But so I'm looking for the offense to genuinely transform this year, and I'm not saying that means a natty, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So is it now or never for natty? No, but it is now or never for the offense to transform. If Georgia comes out there against Clemson and runs the ball on first, second down, and throws it on third, I'm gonna be using bad words
Yeah.
because I'm sick of that.
Right.
And
right.
and I will say this: there's no missing piece for Georgia.
There's not.
Yeah.
If they had a missing piece, they wouldn't have got it in the transfer.
That's what I'm saying. And y'all are, like we said a million times in this video, y'all are the most complete team.
No doubt.
Without a doubt.
And by the end of the year, Georgia could be the number 3 team, have lost the first playoff game,
Right.
or in the Natty.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But you better make the playoffs. And
Yeah.
I'll say this: everyone says, "Well, they're locked in. They're locked in." I don't buy into that because you really don't know how locked in they
Right.
are.
Till week 1.
Right.
But it seems like there's just kind of like a vibe around campus that's like none of this talking junk.
Right.
Just play. And I don't think that means Natty, but I think Kirby knows what we have this year.
Yeah. And that's big to finally get over that hump.
Right.
And it took, and that's why you get this beside the point, but you get into the argument of who's Clemson's best quarterback, Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my personal opinion is Deshaun Watson.
Me too.
Oh, I'd take
Because he
Deshaun
took
Watson.
us, not because
got us over the
talent
hump.
wise, but he took us over that
Right.
hump. If Trevor would have been the first one to win it, takes us over
I'll
that
tell you
hump.
what,
Right.
I'll plug this in real quick, and I absolutely love Trevor Lawrence. I mean, obviously, he's a great quarterback, one of the greatest prospects ever. But I'm telling you, with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, we don't lose by 21, 28 points to Ohio
Right.
State.
Well,
I
he
don't
just
think so.
kind
Don't
of
happen. No way.
Lawrence, as far as mechanics and all that goes,
Yeah.
is probably better.
Yeah.
Or at least in college, maybe. But Deshaun Watson was one of them. In college football, you got to be able to just kind of
Right.
make something out of
Yeah,
nothing.
but that's what I was getting at with that. It's going to take Georgia to get 2 or
Right.
3 more natties in the next 10 years, getting over that first one.
Right.
And
Because that's all it takes.
Yeah,
all it
yeah,
takes
it is.
Once you get
Oh,
that
yeah.
win, it starts to snowball.
yeah,
I mean, because next year we will be replacing quarterback, but it'll be a 5-star.
Right.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Brock Vandegrift.
Right.
And so, imagine Georgia wins it this year. They could win it next
Oh,
year.
and I promise you, and Sakana fans can say what they want. If you win the natty this year, you're getting Delp. No doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah, you're getting Oscar Delp, and there's as good as we've recruited. You win the Natty this year, you probably get whoever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So
But so is it now or never? No, but it is now or when. And real quick, I know we're getting in the 20-minute range, but all right. So quarterback check, offensive line check, running back
yeah,
check.
you got them all.
And some people have said, well, this is the best wide receiver group we've had since '85 or whatever year.
Yeah.
It's the best we've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
In '85, they were in track stamps.
Yeah.
I don't care who you had.
Yeah.
In 1740 and 1980 or
Yeah.
whatever. It's the best.
In
It's the
modern
best
day-
wide receiver
modern
we've
day
ever had.
college football. Yeah.
Defensively, I believe our 2 safeties are Lewis Scene's a top 5 or 10 guy in the nation. Christopher Smith is a really solid guy, really great run support guy, solid coverage guy. DK, we know what he can be.
Yeah.
Ringo, we know what he can be.
Yeah.
Linebackers, they're really good. Defensive line's probably the best I've ever seen at Georgia. Complete team, they're probably the most complete. We put Bama at number 1 in our rankings. If that's not posted, then we just blew that one out of the water. And it probably hasn't posted. But so is it, like I say, is it now or never? No. Is it now or when? Yes. When are you going to transform the offense? When are you going to make the playoffs again? When are you going to win the Natty?
Yeah.
When are you going to beat Alabama?
Yep.
Is it going to take Saban to leave? When's he going to do that?
Yeah.
You can't sit around and wait for Saban to leave. You need to
Just
do it
signed that
now.
Extension. Now, he's old,
Right.
but he just signed
So-
like a 6-year extension.
So it's not
Appreciate you watching.
Georgia fans. It's not now or never for us, but it is now or when.
Yeah.
We gotta make it happen.
We'd like to know your predictions on how you think Georgia will do this year. Is it their year?
Right.
Do they finally get over the hump this year, or is it another just
Good year,
but not
but not good enough.
expectation wise yet?
And make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and please share us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Because that would be very nice and very much.
until
And we
next
appreciate
time,
you watching.
Yeah,
until
absolutely.
next time, keep talking ball.